After receiving the product, inspect its appearance, structural parts, and packing list for any damage or inconsistencies with the ordered product. If any issues are found, contact your distributor immediately. Please carefully inspect the contents according to the provided item list after unpacking. If you notice any damage or items missing, kindly reach out to the dealer for assistance. We have accessories at the top. Remove the battery module from the box and the HV box from the other box. Remove the battery module from the box and the battery controller box from the other box. Check and confirm the battery is powered off before any process. You might need someone to assist you in the installation. Pull the breaker switch of HV box to OFF. Push modules into the rack and fasten them to the cabinet with screws one by one. As shown in the figure, push the HV box into the rack and fasten it with screws. Use power cable to connect the terminal of module 1 and the plus terminal of last module to the D/by plus terminal of the HV box. Use power cable C to connect the plus terminal of module 1 to the terminal of module 2. Connect module to till last module in a similar way. Use a network cable to connect the link-in port of module 1 and the SMBS port of the HV box. Insert one end of a network cable into the link-out port of module 1 and the other end into the link-in port of module 2. Connect module to till module 8 in a similar way. If only one rack is used, insert a crystal plug pin for and pin 5 short-circuited into the upper link and down link ports of the HV box respectively. Connect the grounding terminals on HV box and modules to the grounding terminal of the rack and ground the rack. Strip the insulation from each DC cable by 7 mm to 8 mm. Use a dedicated crimping tool to securely crimp the stripped bare copper conductor. Wrap the press terminals with heat shrink tubing. Hold the cable of a crimped terminal and insert it to each terminal hole of crimping sockets and inline plugs. Perform the same operation on the other end. Strip the insulation from each DC cable by 7 mm to 8 mm. Use a dedicated crimping tool to securely crimp the stripped bare copper conductor. Wrap the press terminals with heat shrink tubing. Hold the cable of a crimped terminal and insert it to each terminal hole of crimping sockets and inline plugs. Strip the insulation from each DC cable by 7 mm to 8 mm. Use a dedicated crimping tool to securely crimp the stripped bare copper conductor. Loosen the nut on the terminal housing and slide the nut and waterproof washer onto the PV power line in the correct order. Insert the crimped wire from the back of the PV terminal housing into the terminal, ensuring you hear a click sound to confirm successful fixation. Tighten the cap at the back. Be sure to check the polarity correctness. Perform the same operation on the other end, making sure to insert it from the back of the PV terminal housing into the terminal. Once you hear a click sound, it indicates successful fixation. Strip a section of the communication cable with professional wire strippers to peel off a small section of the outer skin. To expose the inner wires, insert the waterproof connector assembly in turn, and then crimp the RJ45 crystal head. Remove the meter communication wire terminal nut, as well as the back shell. Take out the communication wire and put the nut and backshell onto the communication wire in turn. Connect the 4-pole communication wires to the 1, 2, 3 and 4 ports in sequence. Secure the wire ends with a small Phillips screwdriver. Install the terminal backshell on the communication terminal head. Install the nut clockwise on the terminal backshell end. Tighten it. Install the 8-pole battery communication cable on one side to the COM port on the lower side of the chassis, and insert the RJ45 terminal on the other side to PCS1. Install the nut onto the terminal rear cover and tighten it clockwise. Use a power cable to connect one pair of HVB box P+ and P terminals to the plus terminals of PCS. Install the 8-pole battery communication cable on one side to the COM port on the lower side of the chassis, and insert the RJ45 terminal on the other side to PCS1.